What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Legitico Response. I cover political news. Now, folks, we've been having a border crisis going on for a while. We know the Biden administration, the Biden-Harris administration, don't forget that, has let, I don't know, the official numbers are like 8.2, it's 8 to 10 million people, illegals that have come into this country, but they're not counting the gotaways and all that. So the estimates are upwards of 15 to 16 million, something like that. And, you know, every single one of 100% of these people are criminals. They have broke the law to get here. And it's just funny, just side tangent right quick. They love to say, and I love talking about this, that, oh, these people ain't going to vote in federal elections because it's illegal. Well, you know what? They broke the law to get here. Do you think they care about some federal statute, some esoteric garbage that they have no idea even exists? They get registered to vote. The Democrats are registering these people to vote all over the damn place. All you got to do is go get a driver's license and boom, you get proof of citizenship. So what they're considering that's why we need voter IDs, folks. We need voter IDs. We need more security, more integrity around our elections because we've got an election coming up, folks. And once again, the states have been doing a pretty good job of voter roll cleanup. You know, we've found thousands of criminal aliens on the voter rolls in Texas. They found thousands in Missouri as well. Now, I don't know about all the other states. They've been finding some here and there, but it's not, you know, in the thousands. But it's just crazy because they're going after red states. That's what they're going after. And a lot of these states, when they do the voter roll cleanup, they don't really publish that data. You have to go look for it. The only reason I know about Texas and Missouri is because they published news articles about that I read. So it's just crazy. But border crisis, folks. Border crisis. And you might think, it's not really a crisis. Yeah, it's a crisis. The amount of people that have come into this country are tearing cities apart. They're overwhelming resources. They're overwhelming these places just outright. In some cases, you got like Springfield, where they just dump 20,000 Haitian migrants, which these people, they came here, they're not criminal aliens. The Biden administration flew these people in, illegally, by the way, claiming asylum, but, you know, that's just garbage, I think. That whole asylum process is just crap, if you ask me. I understand the reason it exists, but they are abusing that system. They're outright abusing that system, especially the Biden administration. That's who I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the people that are trying to come here. The Biden administration is abusing that system because they're not vetting these people. They just bring them into the country and then just let them go on about their business. Give them a court date, and most of these people don't even show up. That's just insane to me. And they don't follow up with none of this. It's just crap, if you ask me. But folks, this is where our country is at. Check this out. 15,000 killers, 20,000 SA convicts, 60,000 robbers among illegal immigrants at large in the country currently. That is a lot of criminals, and most of that is the Biden administration has allowed in. This is an insane story, y'all. Insane story. Homeland Security knows of at least 660,000 illegal immigrants at large in the U.S. with criminal records, including 13,000 convicted murderers, nearly 16,000 SA convicts, and 56,000 involved with dangerous drugs. Thousands more migrants have been charged but not yet convicted of those and other crimes. They are part of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement's so-called non-detained docket, a list of more than 7 million unauthorized migrants or criminal aliens. I don't understand why the corporate press has such a problem with calling them criminal aliens, because that's the legal definition. That's the legal term for what these people are. They want to use some humanizing term for these people. These people don't care about your humanizing terms. So why should we care about what we call them? It's all the same thing to me. They came over here illegally. They shouldn't be here, and they need to be deported. I understand. Like, the criminals, get these people out of here immediately. Now, I understand other people that have come over here for a better life. You bring your family with you. Hey, that's understandable. We can work something out here. But all these criminals in this country, all these people that are just allowed to pour in, people that will commit crimes. It's like, I know, I get it. You can't go after somebody because they will commit a crime, but you understand what I'm getting at here. These people need to be deported. We don't need criminals in our country. We already have way too many criminals already. We don't need more, right? You're exacerbating the issue here. You're exacerbating our societal breakdown, if you will. They're just putting gasoline on the fire that is our society right now. That's what they're doing, and it's crazy to me that they are dividing us for some reason. Divide and conquer type of thing, but we're already under the thumb of the government, so what the hell do they need to conquer at this point? Right? Like, I don't get that at all. They're pitting culture against culture, and that always leads to violence. Why do they want violence? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. ICE provided the data to Congress, and the House Homeland Security Committee released it Friday, just as Vice President Kamala Harris was set to land in Arizona for her first visit to the border in more than 3 years. It may be shocking to hear that the Biden-Harris administration is actively releasing tens of thousands of criminal aliens into our communities, but their own numbers conclusively prove this to be the case, said Rep. Mark Green, chairman of the committee. Former President Donald Trump on social media said the new data should force Mrs. Harris to cancel her border appearance. Kamala should immediately cancel her news conference because it was just revealed that 13,000 convicted murderers entered our country during her 3.5-year period as borders are, he said. Now, he might have said that, but yeah, that's not necessarily the case. You could say that most of those people did come in under her tenure, under his tenure, under their tenure, right? But that they're taking data from everybody in the country currently that's illegal. So some of those came in under Donald Trump, but I can almost assure you that the vast majority of that 13,000 came through under Biden, because once again, when you allow 15 million people to come in. Okay, 10 million people to come in, and then you allow another 5 million to get away because you're not securing the border. Why? Because they take these border agents and they put them in the office to file paperwork because of all the other 8 to 10 million people that are coming through that you're allowing to come into the country. That's insane. That is just outright insane. And then they want to cry foul. Oh, we need more border security agents. We need Congress to pass legislation. And then what does he do? He yells and screams for months and months. Oh, we need Congress to pass legislation to secure the border. And then what does he do? He goes and executive orders the exact same thing. That border security bill. Yeah, it's almost the exact same thing, except the number is a little bit lower. It's a little bit more conservative, which blew my freaking mind. But once again, I love these people argue this constantly, and I can't stand it because, once again, it's another lie. And they input Donald Trump into this, and Donald Trump's just a citizen. He has nothing to do with Congress whatsoever. Sure, he may have friends in Congress, but you know what? A lot of people have friends in Congress. That doesn't mean that they can sway people to vote a certain way. That bill was garbage. Trump had nothing to do with the Republicans not passing that bill. That bill codified illegal immigration. That's what that did. That's why they didn't pass it, because it was garbage. It was written up by a garbage Republican who doesn't care about that border. When you allow 5,000 migrants to come across a border a day, per day, you don't care about border security. You do not care. And then you put the option in there, right? The option. Doesn't have to do it. If it gets over 5,000, he has the option to declare an emergency and shut the border down. Just stop letting anybody come across, right? You're still going to have gotaways. You're still going to have a lot of gotaways, because why? Once again, they take Border Patrol agents off of patrolling the border and they put them in an office filing freaking paperwork. And it's ridiculous. It's outright ridiculous. These people, I just don't get it. In reality, they came over the course of decades. Well, yeah, that's exactly what I just said. I said that as of July 21st, 435,719 migrants on its dockets had criminal convictions, and 26,847 have unresolved criminal charges. Why are we still allowing for these people to be in the country? Why? That makes no sense to me. These people are convicted criminals. Right? Like, Trump says this all the time. They're sending their killers over here. They're sending, they're dumping out the jails and sending these people over here. He's not lying by that. He is not lying, but leave it to the mainstream narrative machine to tell you otherwise. It's crazy. That included 13,099 people convicted of homicide and 1,845 with pending homicide charges. Hang on. So we've got almost 2,000 criminal aliens in the country that have been allowed to come into the country and roam free into the country. And they've got pending homicide charges. Mind-blowing. Why would we allow any convicted murderer to come into this country? Why? Give me a good reason as to why. I would love for somebody to do that. Like, I'm sorry. That should disqualify you immediately from being allowed into this country. Do you think that if you get convicted of murder and you want to go to China, you think they're going to let you in? Do you think if you get convicted of murder, do you think they're going to allow you into any country outside of Europe because they're insane as well? You think these countries are going to just allow you to come in and live your life? Of course not. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous concept. And I can't see an argument to allow these people to stay here. It blows my mind. You're asking for trouble. You're asking for people to get hurt. That's what I don't get about the Biden administration's border crisis. They're asking for trouble. You get all these people to come in, then you ship them all over the country, dump them into places like Springfield, Ohio, a city of like 50, 60,000 people. You dump 20,000 migrants in on the town, and you think everything's just going to go swimmingly? Right? When you add a third of the current population to that population, you don't think that's going to overload the system? You don't think that's going to cause some culture clash? You don't think you're going to have any problems whatsoever? You're insane. You're outright out of your mind if you believe that. That's why I don't understand these people whatsoever. They are willing to destroy your city for their virtue signal, because that's what it is. Oh, they just want a better life. They're just dreamers. No, they're not. A lot of them are criminals. Let them go rebuild their own country. Why do we have to take these people in and endanger our citizens? It makes no sense. It also includes 6,567 migrants convicted of obstructing the police, 10,031 convicted of robbery, 15,811 convicted of SA, 13,423 convicted of weapons offenses, 56,533 convicted of involvement with dangerous drugs, 62,231 convicted of assault, 2,521 convicted of kidnapping, and 792 convicted of arson. Jessica Vaughn, Policy Studies Director at the Center for Immigration Studies, who has been tracking the data over the years, said the latest numbers mark a substantial increase compared to the last decade. Like I said, I can almost guarantee you the vast majority of these people were allowed in under the Biden-Harris administration. And I love to hear people argue that Kamala Harris is going to be a border hawk. Why hasn't she been, for crying out loud? Like, why haven't they done anything about it? They're just allowing for this, and it makes zero sense. It makes zero sense at all. She said it's a result of the Biden administration weakening interior immigration enforcement. Most deportations that happen from the interior are criminals, so when you cut the number of deportations from the interior, you're allowing criminals to stay here, she said. That is a fact. That is an outright fact. Acting ICE Director Patrick, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, who provided the data to Congress, said they do try to hold serious criminals such as convicted murderers, but weigh each case based on perceived risk to the public and risk of flight. Hang on there for a second. So you mean to tell me that somebody who is convicted of murder doesn't pose a risk to the public? Why do we lock up people that get convicted of murder for a very long time? Because they pose a danger to everybody around them. So why wouldn't these people? You might say, oh, but they serve their time. Doesn't matter. Should be just immediately disqualifying. Just outright. If you're involved in drug running, if you're involved in any sort of criminal activity, that should be an immediate disqualification. Boom. Outright. You want to do better? Do better in your own country. That's what I say. That's just, it blows my mind. Like, I understand immigration. They like immigration. I like legal immigration, personally. These people are hardworking people for the most part. If you're willing to just pick up your stuff and move to a totally different country, do it the right way. Yeah, we want those people here. We do need to expand our immigration system greatly. But you know what? It's put there for a reason. It can only handle so many people for a reason. Do I think it could handle a lot more? Yes. I think we could up the ante just a bit. Maybe increase it by 20, 30% and still be fine. But there's a reason that there's a cap on this. And it's not because there's only so many people to do so much paperwork. No, it's designed like that on purpose to not allow the country to be flooded with people that don't know our culture, that don't know their way around, that don't have a job, because they got to come in, they got to set up their life, they got to get a job, they got to start working, they got to blah, 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 blah. You get it. It takes a while and it's hard to do. It's very hard to do. And we might not just have the available jobs to give these people. You ever thought about that? We might not have the housing to be able to house these people. So now you're bringing these people in and they're going to be homeless. They're not going to have a place to stay. That's why the government is giving them your kids' high school gymnasium for a damn immigration camp. That's what they're doing. That's insane. It's outright insane. We don't have room for these people. This is why immigration is set up in such a way to only allow X amount of people to come in at a certain time. We've got to have time to create jobs, build houses, blah, blah, blah. You get it. The list goes on. It's set up like that for a reason. You can't flood the country with people and think everything's just going to go fine. I don't get it. I wish I could talk to Biden. I really do. I would love to pick what little bit of brain matter he has left. ICE takes other factors into consideration as well, including when a non-citizen has a serious medical condition, is the primary caregiver of a minor child, or other humanitarian considerations, he said. He didn't mention it, but some of the serious criminals at large in the U.S. are likely due to the Supreme Court's 2001 ruling in the I'm not even going to try to pronounce that case that imposed a limit on how long migrants can be held in immigration detention. The justices ruled that if deportation didn't seem likely, a migrant couldn't be held indefinitely. This makes total sense. However, they should just be deported. What is the problem with deporting people, for crying out loud? I don't understand the logic behind none of this, and nobody can explain it to me in a way that makes any sense. They always get defensive. Oh, well, they're just trying to make a better life. No, I don't care about that. I do not care. We don't care about that. The American population doesn't care about that if you're a criminal. If you're set for deportation, deport these people, for crying out loud. I'm not talking about non-criminals, criminal aliens. Right? They're criminals, but you know what I mean? People that are good people that maybe they didn't know a legal pathway. Right? Because you have that. And look, once again, like I said, I understand that situation. I totally get it. But you can't skip the line. Once you get to somewhere, you get encountered by an ICE, a CBP agent, sorry. They direct you to a port of entry to fill out your paperwork. Should they be allowed to stay in the country? Sure. That's why we have these detention camps. You stay in the country, they do all your paperwork, you become a citizen, or you get your visa or whatever you got to do while you're waiting on your application to go through. Go right ahead. I'm totally fine with that, by the way. That's fine, because they're doing it the right way. Sure, they didn't know about the process. They tried to cross illegally because maybe they didn't know it was illegal to cross our border. Maybe they didn't know that. But they get directed to a port of entry to fill out the proper paperwork. And if they do so, I'm totally fine with that. These people are okay. It's the criminals that I'm worried about. It's the people, the gotaways, and all this garbage that they're just letting come into the country that they shouldn't. And then refuse to deport them. It's like, what? Countries such as China and Cuba are notoriously bad at cooperating in taking back their criminal migrants, meaning that ICE often has to release those criminals. Why? Force them to go back. The government has penalties it can impose on those other nations to try to get better cooperation, such as withholding travel visas from government officials and their families, or even a broader segment of those countries' populations. The Trump administration regularly deployed that power, but there are no indications the Biden administration has employed it with any frequency. Yeah, I'm sure they haven't, because they don't care. They just want to destroy your cities. Right? Like, it's insane to conclude that, but what other conclusion can you derive from Joe Biden's actions? Right? He knows. He said it on national television back in the freaking 90s. That unchecked illegal immigration will turn your cities to dust. Joe Biden said that. Direct quote. Word for freaking word. So he knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. And doesn't care. And do you think Kamala Harris will? I highly doubt it. I seriously doubt it. They haven't done a damn thing on the border. Right? Joe Biden creates this policy or whatever that's just garbage. It legalizes illegal border crossings. So now it's just border crossings because he legalizes 2,500 a day to come across that border, which is insane. I can't even do this anymore. It's just getting outright ridiculous. Like, once again, I understand some of these people that want a better life. I get that. But you got to do it the proper way. Fill out the proper paperwork. Like, anybody that expects that they could just illegally cross somebody's border and everything will be fine, that's ridiculous. Like, you're going to set off on a journey, leave your home, leave your country, come all the way across the world, and not sure if you're going to be able to get in? Like, that's silly. Like, why? But I've rambled on for long enough on this one, y'all. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comments section, because my mind is steadily blown by the destruction the Biden administration has wrought on this country. Just, it's insane that a politician who claims to love this country, be a devout Catholic, would just implement policy that destroys the country. It's ridiculous. But once again, that's all I got. Y'all let me know what y'all think. And y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.